Flavia Pennetta. This video compresses information gathered from Wikipedia in video format. Studies prove that reading while listening improves comprehension, increases speed as well as expands vocabulary and enhances fluency. Video sections: abstract, career, personal life, external links. Give your feedback on the comments section. Support the channel by subscribing and liking the video. Thanks. Abstract. Flavia Pennetta, Italian pronunciation, born the 25th of February 1982, is a retired Italian professional tennis player and Grand Slam champion in both singles and doubles. She became Italy's first top 10 female singles player on the 17th of August 2009 and the first Italian to be ranked world No. 1 in doubles on the 28th of February 2011. She became a Grand Slam singles champion by winning the US Open in 2015, where she defeated her childhood friend Roberta Vinci in the first all-Italian Grand Slam final. Pennetta won 10 other WTA singles titles, including the 2014 Indian Wells Masters, in which she defeated the top 2 seeds, both of whom were ranked in the top 3. She also was a mainstay in the Fed Cup team competition, helping to win 4 titles for Italy in 2006, 2009, 2010, and 2013. Her highlights in doubles include winning the 2010 WTA Finals and the 2011 Australian Open with partner Casella Dulco, and reaching the 2005 and 2014 US Open Finals, partnering respectively with Elena Dementieva and Martina Hingis. After winning the 2015 US Open, Pennetta announced she would retire at the end of the season. She then earned a spot in the WTA Finals for the first time, where she defeated eventual champion Agnieszka Radwanska in the round-robin stage, and retired with a top 10 ranking. Throughout her career she defeated many other Grand Slam champions: Justine Henin, Mary Pierce, Martina Hingis, Amelie Mauresmo, Svetlana Kuznetsova, Victoria Azarenka, Samantha Stosa, Liana Petra Kvitov, Maria Sharapova, and Venus Williams in 3 consecutive meetings. Pennetta was pronounced a Knight of Order of Merit of the Republic on 24 January 2007 by Carlo Azeglio Ciampi, then President of Italy. Career: Pennetta was introduced to tennis at the age of 5 by her father. At age 17, she won the 1999 French Open in girls' doubles with fellow Italian Roberta Vinci. Pennetta began to play on the ITF women's circuit in 1997. The following year, she lost in the second round of her first qualifying tournament for a WTA Tour main draw, the Internazionale Femminile di Palermo. In 1999, Pennetta won 2 singles titles and 2 doubles titles on the ITF circuit. She was unsuccessful in her several attempts to qualify for WTA Tour main draws in 2000. The following year, she limited her play to the ITF circuit. She played her first WTA Tour main draw match at the Cellular South Cup in 2002, when she lost in the first round. She also lost in the first round in Palermo, but reached the second round of the Idea-Procom Open in Sopot. Her ranking reached the top 100 for the first time on 23 September 2002, when she reached No. 100. In 2003, Pennetta lost in the semi-finals of the Hyderabad Open to eventual champion Tamarine Tanasugan. She also reached the quarterfinals at the Canberra Women's Classic, Copa Colsonitas, and Abierto Mexicano Telcel. She debuted in the main draws of all 4 Grand Slam tournaments. Her best result was the third round of the Roland Garros, where she defeated 21st-seeded American Lisa Raymond in the second round, before losing to Hungary's Petra Mandula. Pennetta started the year at the Tier 5 Canberra Women's Classic, where she lost in the quarterfinals to Julia Vakulenko. At the Australian Open, she lost in the first round to Italian Antonella Sarazinetti in straight sets. Pennetta then lost in the first round of both the Cellular South Cup in Memphis Tennessee and the Copa Colsonitas in Bogota, Colombia. These losses were followed by her first WTA Tour final at the Abierto Mexicano Telcel in Acapulco, where she was defeated by Iveta Benarrof. She played both of the Tier 1 springtime hardcourt tournaments in the United States. She beat Ludmila Survanov in the first round of the Pacific Life Open in Indian Wells before losing to Maria Sharapova. She then lost in the first round of qualifying for the Nasdaq 100 Open in Key Biscayne. Returning to clay courts, Pennetta lost in the second round of 2 consecutive WTA Tour tournaments: the Grand Prix Sá La Princesa Lala Merriam in Casablanca and the Portugal Open in Estoril. At the Budapest Grand Prix, Pennetta lost in the semi-finals to eventual champion Jelena Jankovic in straight sets. She then defeated World No. 6 Nadia Petrova in the second round of the Internazionale BNL d'Italia in Rome before falling to World No. 21 Anna Smashnová in the third round. At the French Open, Pennetta lost in the first round, once more to Smashnová in straight sets. In the first grass court tournament of her career, she defeated Marion Bartoli in the first round of the DFS Classic in Birmingham, before losing to World No. 32 Alicia Molik in the second round. Pennetta achieved the same result at the Ordner Open, falling to World No. 85 Barbara Schett. At Wimbledon, she was beaten by Petrova in the first round in 3 sets. In July, she played yet another clay court tournament, where she was beaten in the final of the Internazionale Femminile di Palermo by Annabelle Medina Garrigues. Returning to hard courts for the first time since April, she lost to Henrietta Nagyoff in the first round of the Nordea Nordic Light Open in Stockholm this year. The following week at the clay court Orange Precom Open in Sopot, Poland, Pennetta won her first WTA Tour title, defeating Kailriko Karlov in the final. Pennetta then lost to former World No. 1 Lindsay Davenport in the quarterfinals of the Western and Southern Financial Group Women's Open in Cincinnati, and to World No. 25 Magdalena Malieva in the first round of the U.S. Open. 62, 46, 46. Pennetta played 4 tournaments the remainder of the year. At the Wismilak International in Bali, Pennetta lost in the second round to eventual quarterfinalist Gisela Dulko. She then fell to Mara Ventokatchi in the first round of the China Open in Beijing and to Tamarine Tanasugan in the second round of the Guangzhou International Women's Open. In her final event of the year, she lost to World No. 14 Isugiyama in the second round of the Zurich Open 67. 16. In Pennetta's first event of the year, she reached the quarterfinals of the Brisbane International, losing to Tatiana Golovin in 3 sets. She then lost in the first rounds of the Australian Open and the Open Gaz de France. In the next 2 weeks she won 2 titles in a row. The first one Copa Colsonitas, defeating Lourdes Dangeslino in the final 76-64, and the second one in the Abierto Mexicano Telcel, defeating Ludmila Survanov in 3 sets. Pennetta lost early in her next tournaments: the second rounds of the Pacific Life Open, the Qatar Total German Open and the Rome Masters. She also lost in the first round of the Estoril Open and the third rounds of the Miami Masters and the French Open. She bounced back in the Wimbledon Championships by reaching the 4th round, losing to Mary Pierce in straight sets and the semi-finals of both the Internazionale di Modena and the Internazionale Femminile di Palermo, which were held in Italy. She followed it up with losses to Japanese players Akiko Morigami in Acura Classic and Aiko Nakamura in JP Morgan Chase Open. In the Rogers Cup she was crushed by eventual champion Kim Clijsters 60-61. In the US Open she was upset by German Julia Struff in the first round. She also lost early in the China Open in the first round and the Kremlin Cup in the second round to eventual champion Mary Pierce. She ended the year with quarter-final appearances in the Wismilak International, the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, and the Zurich Open. She ended the year ranked No. 23 in the world. Flavia had a good start to the 2006 season, finishing runner-up at Gold Coast against Lucy Afov. At Sydney, she was defeated by Lena in the first round. Going into the Australian Open, Pennetta defeated Cara Black and Martina Such, before falling to Nicole Vidioff in the third round. At Paris, she was upset by rising star Sania Mirza in 2 sets. Pennetta started to pick up her pace as the season went on, with 2 runner-up showings at Bogota and Acapulco, losing to Lourdes Dangeslino and Annalena Grinfeld, respectively. Pennetta began 2007 with 3 first-round losses at Gold Coast, Hobart and the Australian Open, falling to Maria Kirilenko, Aiko Nakamura and Kaya Kanepi, respectively. Her next 2 tournaments went well, as she has a semi-final showing at Bogota, falling to Roberta Vinci, and made it all the way to the final of Acapulco, where she lost to Miley Loit. Then she lost 4 straight matches at Indian Wells, Miami, Amelia Island and Charleston. She managed to take a win from Arantxa Parisantonir at Estoril before getting overpowered by Gisela Dulco. Then came another streak of first-round losses at Berlin, Rome, and the French Open. At Barcelona, Flavia made it to the semi-finals, where she was beaten by Megan Shaughnessy. Then at Hertogenbosch, she defeated Karen Knapp and Tajana Malik to make it to the quarter-finals, where she lost to Dinara Safina. She was eliminated in the first round of the Wimbledon Championships. She made it to the semi-finals at Biella, falling to Agnieszka Radwaska. Pennetta started the year by losing in the second round of the Mondial Australian Women's Hard Courts in Gold Coast to Dinara Safina. Pennetta then reached the semi-finals of the Morilla Hobart International, where she lost to eventual champion Eleni Danieladu. At the Australian Open, she defeated Dominika Cibulkova in the first round but fell to the 30th seeded Virginie Razzano in the second round. Pennetta then played for Italy's Fed Cup team versus Spain. She played 1 singles match versus Annabelle Medina Garrigues and lost. Pennetta won her first title of the year, the Cachanton Cup, in Villa del Mar, Chile, defeating Kailra Zakopalov in the final. However, she lost in the first round of the Copa Colsonitas to Bettina Dozami. Pennetta then won her second title of the year, the Acapulco Open, beating Alice Cornet in the final. As the 30th seed, Pennetta received a bye in the first round of the Pacific Life Open. She then defeated Kaya Kanepi in the second round, but was defeated by fellow Italian Francesca Schiavone in the third round. She also fell to defending champion Serena Williams at the Sony Ericsson Open in Key Biscayne in the third round. Pennetta then lost in the second round of the Estoril Open to Iveta Benarov. Pennetta defeated Olga Savchuk in the first round of the Internazionale BNL d'Italia in Rome before losing to defending champion Yelena Jankovic in the second round. She then withdrew from her quarter-final match against Medina Garrigues at the International de Strasbourg. At the French Open, Pennetta defeated 8th-seeded Venus Williams in the third round, before losing to Carla Cerez Navarro in the fourth round. Pennetta lost in the first round of her first tournament on grass at the Ordina Open to Sania Mirza. She then defeated Julia Vakulenko in the first round of Wimbledon, before losing to Isagiyama in the second round. She then played at the Internazionale Femminile di Palermo and lost to eventual champion Sarah Irani in the semi-finals. Pennetta then lost in the final of the East-West Bank Classic in Los Angeles to Dinara Safina. At the following tournament, the Rogers Cup, she was defeated by a qualifier, Michelle Larcher de Brito, in the second round. She was then the part of the Italian Olympic team at the Summer Olympics in Beijing. However, lost to Kaya Kanepi in the first round. Pennetta also reached the second round of the Pilot Pen Tennis Tournament in New Haven. At the US Open, she defeated Stephanie Vietagel in the first round, Peng Shuai in the second round, former world No. 3 Nadia Petrova in the third round, and former world No. 1 Amelie Mauresmo in the fourth round. before losing to Safina in the quarterfinals. It was Pennetta's best singles performance at a Grand Slam tournament then. Pennetta then reached the quarterfinals of Commonwealth Bank Tennis Classic in Bali, losing to eventual runner-up Tamira Pashik. At the Toray Pan Pacific Open in Tokyo, she lost in the quarterfinals to former world No. 1 Jelena Jankovic. Pennetta then lost to Katerina Bondarenko in the first round of the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, to world No. 1 Jankovic in the quarterfinals of the Kremlin Cup in Moscow, and to Venus Williams in the final of the Zurich Open. At her last tournament of the year, the Generali Linz Open, Pennetta defeated Jenny Svei in the first round and Dominika Sabalkova in the second round before losing to former world No. 1 and eventual champion, Ana Ivanovic. In the quarterfinals, Pennetta played her first tournament of the year at the Morilla Hobart International, where she was the top seed. She defeated Shahar Peer in the first round and then fell to Magdalena Rybakov in the second round. Pennetta was the 13th seed at the Australian Open, where she lost in the third round to Annabelle Medina Garrigues. Pennetta then played for Italy's Fed Cup team in the Fed Cup World Group stage versus France. Italy 150. Pennetta won both her singles matches over Amelie Mauresmo and Alice Cornet. At her first tournament of the year on clay, the Copa Sony Ericsson Colsonitas in Bogota, Pennetta fell to Marzette Spicari in the first round. She reached the final of the Abierto Mexicano Telcel in Acapulco for the sixth straight year, but lost to Venus Williams in 2 sets. Returning to hard courts at the Monterrey Open, Pennetta lost to Barbora Zławowska in the second round. She was the 15th seed at the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, the first premier mandatory event of the year, and lost in the fourth round to eventual runner-up Ana Ivanovic in a 3-set match. Pennetta lost in the third round of the Sony Ericsson Open in Key Biscayne, another premier mandatory event, to Mauresmo. Pennetta then played a series of clay court events in preparation for the French Open. She lost to fellow Italian Roberta Vinci in the second round of the Barcelona Ladies Open. She then played 2 matches for Italy's Fed Cup team in the World Group semi-finals versus reigning champion Russia. She defeated Anna Chakvetadze and lost to Svetlana Kuznetsova, but the final result was 41 in favor of Italy. This will be the second Fed Cup final for Pennetta. The following week, she reached the semi-finals of the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart, beating 2 top 10 players, Jelena Jankovic and Nadia Petrova, but fell to world No. 1 player Dinara Safina in 3 sets. At the Internazionale BNL d'Italia in Rome, a Premier 5 event, Pennetta lost in the third round to Kuznetsova, 60 in the third set. The following week, she was upset by Jenny Svei in the first round of the Matteo Immagili Madrid Open, the third premier mandatory event of the year, losing in 3 sets. Pennetta, seeded 11th, lost in the first round of the 2009 French Open to Alexa Glach. At Wimbledon, she advanced to the third round where she was ousted by the No. 17, Amelie Mauresmo, in straight sets. Pennetta then played on her home soil in Palermo, defeating Sara Errani in the final in 2 sets. She and partner Vinci advanced to the semi-finals in doubles. On the hard courts of Los Angeles, Pennetta upset Vera Zvonareva en route to the semi-finals where she would be extended to 3 sets by Maria Sharapova. In her second consecutive final at the event, she defeated Samantha Sosa in 2 sets. At Cincinnati, a Premier 5 event, she extended her winning streak to 15 matches, maintaining an impressive record against Venus Williams, whom she beat in 2 sets. By virtue of her defeat over Daniela Hintukova in the quarterfinals, she rose into the top 10 for the first time in her career, the first Italian woman ever to do so. Her run ended after a straight sets defeat against world No. 1, Dinara Safina. In the semi-finals, Pennetta was seeded 12th at Toronto but lost to Virginie Razzano in the second round. At her next tournament at New Haven, She lost in the semi-finals to Caroline Wozniacki. Pennetta started the US Open with a win over Adina Galavitz in 2 sets. In the second round, she double-bageled Sanya Mirza 60-60. She advanced to the fourth round after a straight-sets victory against Alexandra Wozniak. She played Vera Zvonareva in the fourth round, and saved 4 match points at her serve at 56 in the second set, and then saved another 2 in the second set tie-break, before winning the final set to love. She was defeated by Serena Williams in the quarterfinals in straight sets. After the US Open, Pennetta lost again to Roberta Vinci in the first round of the Toray Pan-Pacific Open in Tokyo. At the China Open, she made the quarterfinal, losing to Zvonareva 57 in the third set. As the top seed at Generali Ladies Linz tournament in Linz, Pennetta lost in the semi-finals to third seed Janina Wickmeyer in straight sets. In the following week, she was forced to retire with a knee injury in the opening round. Pennetta started her season at the ASB Classic in Auckland as the No. 1 seed, where she defeated Jill Craybas, Carla Ceresnavero, Dominika Cibulkov, and Francesca Schiavone in the semi-finals. She lost to third seed Janina Wickmeyer. In the Medibank International, she notched up 2 top 20 wins over Sam Stosur and Lena, before losing to unseeded Aravane Reza in the quarterfinals. At the first Grand Slam of the year, Pennetta was the 12th seed. In the opening round, she defeated former top 10 player Anna Chakvetadze, before falling in the second round to qualifier and world No. 16, Janina Wickmeyer. The loss was her third consecutive straight-set loss to Wickmeyer. Pennetta was selected for Italy's first Fed Cup tie against Ukraine. She won both her singles matches in straight sets against the Bondarenko sisters to set up a 41-away victory in the tie. Pennetta received a wildcard into OpenGDF Suez in Paris, where she was the second seed. After receiving a first-round bye, she defeated Elisa Klebanova and Tatiana Garban to reach the semi-finals, where she fell in 3 sets to Lucy Afov. At the Dubai Tennis Championships, Pennetta advanced to the third round, losing to 7th seed Agnieszka Radwaska. Pennetta was forced to withdraw from the Abierto Mexicano Telcel due to a hip injury. Pennetta suffered 2 early upset defeats at the 2 premier events BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells and Miami. After receiving first-round byes, Pennetta lost in the third round of Indian Wells to Shahar Perin in the second round of Miami to Andrea Petkovic. Despite her poor singles result in Miami, Pennetta was able to win the doubles title in Miami, partnering with Kasalia Dulko and defeating Sam Stosur and Nadia Petrova in the final. At the Andalusia Tennis Experience, Pennetta won her first title of the year, advancing to the finals without dropping a set and defeating Carla Ceresnavero in the final. At the French Open, Pennetta was seeded 14th. She defeated Anne Kiyothavong, Roberta Vinci, and Polona Hercog in the first 3 rounds. She was eliminated by third seed Caroline Wozniacki in the round of 16. However, her performance moved her ranking back into the top 10, matching her career high of world No. 10. This, in combination with countrywoman's Francesca Schiavone winning the French Open, meant that in the week of the 7th of June 2010, 2 Italian women were in the top 10 at the same time for the first time. Pennetta was seeded 10th at Wimbledon, where she advanced to the third round and fell to Kailvra Zakopalov. She was seeded 5th at the Mercury Insurance Open in San Diego. In the quarterfinals, she defeated Sam Stosur to advance to the semi-finals, where she fell to Svetlana Kuznetsova. Pennetta began her year at the 2011 Medibank International Sydney, where in her first match she defeated qualifier Lucy Radek. In the second round, Flavia went on to defeat world No. 2, Vera Zvonareva. In a tough match, she went on to lose to Bojana Jovanovski in the quarterfinals. At the Australian Open, Pennetta won her first round match against Anastasia Rodionova. In her second round match, She defeated Lourdes Danguez-Lino before Pennetta came up victorious against Shahar in a three-set battle, in which she rallied from deficits several times. She lost to Czech player Petra Kvitova in the fourth round. She did, however, capture her first career Grand Slam doubles title in the doubles competition, again partnering with Dulko and beating Victoria Azarenka and Maria Kirilenko in the final. In the Fed Cup, she helped two-time reigning champion Italy defeat Australia with wins in two singles rubbers over Sam Stosur and Jarmila Groth. At the Dubai Tennis Championships, Pennetta was seeded 11th. In the first round, she defeated wildcard Yelena Doki. She advanced to the semi-final after defeating Zakopalov, Azarenka, and Elisa Klebanova respectively. However, there she was defeated by Svetlana Kuznetsova. As the 21st seed at the Wimbledon Championships, Pennetta eased past Chanel Scheepers of South Africa in two sets before seeing off Evgenia Rodina of Russia to reach to the third round. She then fell to Marion Bartoli of France in a close match, with Bartoli edging the win in 3 sets. On the 28th of February, Pennetta became the first Italian tennis player, male or female, to be ranked world No. 1 in doubles. Pennetta was the 26th seed at the US Open. She defeated Aravane Reza, Romina Oprandi, 3rd seed Maria Sharapova, and 13th seed Peng Shuai in straight sets, to reach the US Open quarterfinals for the third time, where she lost to Angelique Kerber. Pennetta's next tournament was the Tokyo Japan Open, where she was eliminated in the first round by Kaia Kanepi after a three-set match. At Beijing, Pennetta made it to the semi-finals, beating the defending champion and world No. 1 Caroline Wozniacki in 3 sets, before losing to Agnieszka Radwańska in straight sets. Pennetta retired against Zheng Ji in final of the ASB Classic. At the Australian Open, she lost to Nina Brachikova in round 1. She then reached the second round at Doha and Dubai, losing on both occasions to Katerina Bondarenko and Yelena Jankovic respectively. Pennetta then reached the final at Acapulco, where she lost to Sara Errani. During the North American hard court swing, Pennetta reached the third round at Indian Wells, losing to Agnieszka Radwańska. Then at the Sony Ericsson Open, she lost to wildcard Gabi Muguruza in the third round. At the Barcelona Open, Pennetta, the 5th seed, lost to Ukrainian Yulia Bagelzima in the second round. Unseeded at the Rome Masters, Pennetta reached the quarterfinals after defeating Maria Kirilenko, Sloane Stephens, and Petra Setkovsky. She then lost to Serena Williams at the French Open. She reached the third round, where she lost to eventual quarterfinalist Angelique Kerber. Pennetta kicked off a grass court season with a second-round appearance at the UNICEF Open, losing to Ursula Radwańska. At Wimbledon, she fell to Camila Giorgi in round 1. At the Olympics, Pennetta defeated Sorana Crstia and Svetlana Pironkova before losing to Petra Kvitova in round 3. At the Montreal, Pennetta lost to Chanel Scheepers in the second round after receiving a first-round bye. Pennetta did not play the US Open due to injury. On August 27, 2012, Pennetta underwent surgical cleaning of her right wrist, performed by the doctor who has treated Rafael Nadal. Pennetta returned to competition at the Copa Colsonitas in Colombia ranked 60th. She lost to Lara Iribarrena in the second round. The following week, she fell to Lourdes Danguez-Lino in the first round at the Abierto Mexicano Telcel, where she was finalist the year before. She then lost to Francesca Schiavone in the first round at Indian Wells. At the Sony Open Tennis, Pennetta defeated Johanna Larsson in round 1 before losing to world No. 1 Serena Williams. Pennetta lost in the first round at Madrid and Rome to Kaia Kanepi and Sloane Stephens respectively. The week before the French Open, Pennetta qualified for the International de Strasbourg and reached the semi-finals, where she lost to Lucy Radek. At the French Open, she lost to Kirsten Flipkens in the first round. Pennetta had a breakthrough at Wimbledon where she advanced to the fourth round for the first time in more than 5 years. She defeated Elena Baltacher in her opening match before receiving a walkover from Victoria Azarenka in the second round. She then went on to defeat Alice Cornet in 3 sets before losing to Flipkins again. Pennetta then reached the semi-finals at Bastad where she lost to Larson. During the U.S. Open Series, Pennetta fell in the first round at the Southern California Open to Schiavone. At the Rogers Cup in Toronto, she defeated Ursula Radwaska in the first round. She then lost to the 16th seed Anna Ivanovic. The following week in Cincinnati, she lost to American Varvara Lepchenko in the first round. Pennetta was ranked 83rd entering the U.S. Open and she reached her first Grand Slam singles semi-final, defeating higher-ranked opponents such as Sara Errani, Svetlana Kuznetsova, Simona Halep and Roberta Vinci in early rounds before succumbing to world No. 2 Victoria Azarenka in the semi-finals. In September, Pennetta reached the second round at Tokyo after defeating Daniela Hantuchova. She then lost to Caroline Wozniacki. At the China Open, she drew Ivanovic in the first round, and lost in straight sets. At the HP Open, she lost to Vania King in the first round. Pairing with Kristina Mladenovic, she won the doubles title, defeating Samantha Stosur and Zhang Shuai in the final. As the 28th seed, Pennetta reached the quarterfinals at Australian Open, having defeated Angelique Kerber in the fourth round. She lost to Lian A, who then went on to win the tournament. Pennetta then suffered a shocking first-round defeat to Xie Suwei in Doha. In Dubai she reached main draw and then defeated Kaya Kanepi and second seed Agnieszka Radwaska, before losing the match against Venus Williams in quarterfinals. Pennetta then won the biggest title of her career at the BNP Paribas Open when she defeated Radwaska in the final. She had defeated top seed Lian A en route to the final. At the Sony Open Tennis in Miami, Pennetta lost to Anna Ivanovic in the third round. The following week at Monterrey, Pennetta, the top seed, lost her opener to Kimiko Dacrum-Monsieur. During the clay court season, Pennetta reached the second round at Stuttgart, where she lost to Jelena Jankovic. At the Matua Madrid Open, Pennetta fell in round 1 to Czech Lucia Fov, playing in front of her home crowd at the Internazionale BNL d'Italia. She reached the third round after defeating Yvonne Miasberger and Belinda Bencic. She subsequently lost to Jankovic again. At Roland Garros, Pennetta lost to Johanna Larsson in the second round. She reached the second round at Eastbourne where she lost to local girl Heather Watson. In doubles, she partnered with Martina Hingis and they reached the final, losing to the Chan sisters. At Wimbledon, Pennetta lost to American Lauren Davis in the second round. Pennetta kicked off her U.S. Open Series campaign with a first round to Kazakh Yulia Putintseva at Montreal. The following week, she reached the third round at Cincinnati where she lost to Serena Williams. Pennetta then reached her fifth U.S. Open quarterfinal after defeating Casey Delacroix in the fourth round. She succumbed to Serena once again in the last 8 despite having an early lead. In doubles, she partnered with Hingis and they reached the final, losing to Russian duo Katerina Makarova and Elena Vesnina in 3 sets. In October, Pennetta was seeded 15th at the Wuhan Open. She lost in the first round to Jarmila Gaidov in straight sets, but won the doubles tournament with Hingis. At the China Open, she defeated Christina Mikhail in the first round before succumbing to Carla Perez Navarro in 3 sets. As the third seed in Moscow, Pennetta once again suffered an opening round loss to Camila Giorgi. She received a wildcard to play in Sofia after the withdrawal of Jankovic. She turned things around by reaching the final, her second of 2014. In the round-robin stage she overcame Alice Cornet and Karolina Pielkov in straight sets. She also suffered a loss to Gabi Muguruza, despite winning the first set 60, accumulating a record of 21. She advanced to the semi-final for the first time since Indian Wells in March, where she avenged her loss to Suarez Navarro, claiming the victory in straight sets. She ran out of steam in the final, falling to Andrea Petkovic in 3 sets, having won the first set 6-1. The 2015 season started slowly for Pennetta. During the Hopman Cup, she battled Serena Williams before ultimately losing the match. In the Australian Open, she lost to compatriot Camila Giorgi in the first round, failing to defend her quarter-finalist points from 2014. In the Dubai Premier event, she reached the quarter-finals, where she lost to Caroline Wozniacki. As the defending champion at Indian Wells, she managed to reach the quarter-finals, beating Madison Brengel, Sam Stosur, and world No. 2 Maria Sharapova. She lost to Sabine Lisicki in 3 close sets despite having 3 match points. At the Miami Open, she continued this run by defeating former world No. 1 Victoria Azarenka, before falling to Simona Halep in the round of 16 in straight sets despite leading 52 in the second set. Pennetta had mixed results during the clay season. She made it to the quarterfinals in Marrakesh, losing to eventual finalist Temea Babos in 3 sets. She suffered early exits at both Madrid and Rome to Andrea Petkovic and Elina Svitolina respectively. Pennetta equaled her best result at the French Open by reaching the 4th round. She beat Carla Suarez Navarro for her second top 10 win before losing to Gabi Muguruza in straight sets. Pennetta went winless during the grass season. She lost in Eastbourne to Svetlana Kuznetsova and at Wimbledon to Zarina Diaz. In Toronto, Pennetta lost in the second round to Serena Williams in 3 sets. This was the first time since 2008 that Pennetta had won a set against Williams at Cincinnati. Pennetta beat former top 10 player Dominika Cibulka before losing to newly crowned Toronto champion Belinda Bencic in straight sets. In New Haven, Pennetta lost in the first round to last year's finalist Magdalena Rybakov in 3 sets. Pennetta then played at the US Open as the 26th seed. She made it to the quarterfinals for the 6th time in the previous 7 attempts by beating Jarmila Gaiduv, Monica Niculescu, Petra Setkovskaya and 2011 champion Samantha Stosur. In the quarterfinals, she came up against 2-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova. Pennetta won the match in 3 sets, after having trailed 13 in the second set, to advance to her second US Open semi-final. She then defeated second seed Simona Halep in straight sets to advance to her first Grand Slam final. Pennetta faced fellow countrywoman Roberta Vinci in the first ever All-Italian Grand Slam final in the Open era. Pennetta won the match in straight sets, claiming her first ever US Open title and her first Grand Slam title. During her acceptance speech, she announced her retirement. In an interview with Eurosport after the match, Pennetta clarified that she would play out the rest of the season. By virtue of winning the US Open, Pennetta returned to the top 10 for the first time since September 2009. In the weeks following the US Open, she attained a new career high ranking of No. 6. She qualified for the WTA Finals in Singapore, where she was defeated in the round robin, losing against Halep and defeating Agnieszka Radwanska before going down to Maria Sharapova in their last professional singles match of her career. Pennetta retired having won 28 WTA titles in total, including the US Open in singles and Australian Open and WTA Finals in doubles, reaching No. 6 in the world in singles and No. 1 in the world in doubles, and winning the Fed Cup 4 times between 2006 and 2013. Personal life. Flavia Pennetta was born in Brindisi to Aronzo and Concetta Pennetta. She has an older sister, Georgia. She was introduced to tennis at the age of 5 and has cited Monica Seles as her tennis idol. Pennetta previously dated Carlos Moy. The two split in 2007, and she wrote of the traumatic breakup in her memoir Drito El Corey. Straight to the Heart. Pennetta began dating compatriot ATP tennis player Fabio Fognini in early 2014. Pennetta got engaged to Fognini in 2015, and the two were married in Ostuni in June 2016. On the 15th of December 2016, they announced that Pennetta was pregnant with their first child. Pennetta gave birth to a baby boy on the 19th of May 2017, naming him Federico. On the 23rd of December 2019, their second child was born. Pennetta is a Roman Catholic.